Hey there, welcome back to The Truth Is Somewhere, where we talk about conspiracy theory podcast. Well, we are the podcast. We talk about conspiracy theories and other things in that area, that vein. Yeah, that's it. Megan, what are we talking about today?
Well, Corey, today we're going to talk about the Jameson family disappearance.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're going to say my name. I was like, what if they forgot his name?
Well, yeah, well, I always say that.
Yeah,
I always say your
just
name.
felt like maybe they needed a reiteration.
Hi, I'm Corey.
Okay, so we're talking about the Jameson family disappearance/deaths. Except first they disappeared and they were found and they were dead.
Oh, okay. Mystery solved.
Mystery solved.
Episode
Except
over.
the
Thanks,
mystery
guys.
is not solved, so we're gonna dive into this one.
Oh, okay.
So, in October of 2009, Bobby and Sherilyn Jameson and their 6-year-old daughter, Madison, vanished seemingly without a trace in the Red Oak Mountain area of Oklahoma.
Okay.
Over 100 people searched for the family, but nothing was found until November of 2013.
Where did they search? Where were they lost? Like.
Well, I'll get there.
Okay.
I promise I'll get there.
You'll get there. Okay.
But it took 4 years for them to be found, after 100 people were searching for them.
4 years.
4 years.
Only 100. I mean, 100 people.
Still, anyway, the Jamesons lived roughly 30 miles away from where they vanished.
Mm-hmm.
And they had been in the area looking at a 40-acre piece of land that they were interested in purchasing.
Okay.
And the couple said that they wanted to live a more isolated life without a lot of people breathing down their necks. I guess they were having, like, financial troubles and stuff, so they were really looking at being off-grid and kind of getting away.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. If you can sustain yourself.
Yeah.
It's a way of living that's, I think everything I read about it is it's really tough at first, but once you get it, is in a lot of ways a lot less stressful and easier than it used to. Like, a lot easier in a lot of ways.
Oh. What is crazy is that they bought a storage container and they were planning to live in the storage container.
Like a big freight container?
Like
on a ship?
like a pod or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, people do that. That's what the military lives in.
Well, that's true in the desert, right? But, like, I just think that that's kind of nuts that was their game plan.
Sure.
Like, we're going to move ourselves and our 6-year-old into a storage container on this plot of 40 acres. And I was reading on Reddit, because I do that a lot on the Unresolved Mysteries forum, and somebody was like, I live in Latimer County, which is the county in Oklahoma where this took place.
Sure.
And they were like, half of the places in the area where these people disappeared are still on outhouses. Like, they don't even have septic systems.
Wow.
Like, it's that rural. And so to just, like, up and decide randomly that you're going to buy a 40-acre piece of land and live in a storage container with your 6-year-old is a little much for me.
Yeah, I could get it. I get that. That's definitely a little much.
For me, it kind of, it feeds into me thinking maybe they weren't quite right in the head.
Or maybe they're running from something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I will explain to you where they were found, where they disappeared.
Oh, already? We're already there.
We're there, yeah. That's why I was like, I'm gonna get there, don't worry about it. Their truck was found with no signs of distress, struggle, or accident.
Okay.
And Bobby and Sherilyn's wallets, IDs, and phones were still under the truck, along with a GPS device, some maps, and $32,000 in cash.
Wow, where'd they get the money? Was it just theirs, or?
Nobody knows.
There's no deposit, no withdrawals from the banks, or?
Not that I noticed in any of my research. Maybe there was, but it wasn't like a pertinent part of the...
Okay, so it seems like that money is not really important.
Right, except $32,000 in cash. The assumption is that they were going to use it to pay for...
Well, I mean, the
land.
I don't think that's that striking. I really don't, because I think that if you... Oh, so they hadn't already bought the land.
No, they hadn't bought it yet.
Oh,
They were out there looking at that land.
I assumed they had bought the land already.
No.
But either way, yeah, down payment.
Yeah. So I'm assuming, well, in Oklahoma,
32,000 or
32,000 might actually pay for the whole thing.
That might pay for the whole thing. But also, like, at the same time, if you're planning to live off the grid, you probably don't trust banks anymore.
Right, and so everything's backloaded in cash. It's really strange as the truck was locked with the keys still in the ignition.
Okay.
And the family dog was also in the car.
Uh-oh.
They found the dog, and the dog's name is Maisie, and she survived and went to live with Bobby's mother. So
wait, how'd the dog survive?
The dog ate its own feces for a week.
Oh, that's sweet.
Like, they found it barely alive. But it survived, and it's living with Bobby's mom.
Dog eats its own feces for a week, whether it's trapped in a car or not.
I know, but it was starving, and that's sad.
But it didn't starve.
To death. And so I wanted to make a note of that because it was a happy thing that the dog at least was found alive and is possibly still alive today, but I didn't find any more information other than the dog went to live with his mom.
That's true. Okay.
In November of 2013, the skeletal remains of 2 adults and 1 child were found face down, side by side in the woods, roughly 3 miles from the Jamisons' car.
Mm-hmm.
Only 3 miles away. 100 people searching. They're only 3 miles away.
Okay.
The remains were positively identified as Bobby, Sherilyn, and Madison in July of 2014.
Mm-hmm.
But the bodies were so badly decomposed that no cause of death could be determined. So no one really knows what happened, which means we have theories.
Mystery. Yeah.
So first theory. I'm going to cover some of the ones that, like, make sense first.
Okay.
There was an 11-page letter written to Bobby from Sherilyn found in the truck,
Mm-hmm.
and the letter was spiteful and hateful. I looked everywhere to find, like, what was actually written in the letter, and I could not find it.
Okay.
So if any of you find it, email it to me, because we'll post it in the show notes or whatever, but
That'd be cool.
I would find it very interesting, but I could not find it. Every time I just, like, any type of version of Sherilyn Jamison letter, or, like, hateful letter, Sherilyn Jamison, or whatever like that, all it would come up with is, like, news articles talking about there was a hateful letter found, or, like, the Reddit people talking about a hateful letter found, but I couldn't find, like, a scan of the letter.
Or even a type.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the letter was supposedly very spiteful and hateful.
Okay. From?
Huh?
Who was it from?
From Sherilyn to Bobby. From wife to husband.
Okay, wife to husband, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The letter combined with both Bobby and Sherilyn's known diagnosed depression and the fact that the .22 pistol that was normally kept in the truck was missing leads some people to believe that their deaths were a murder-suicide carried out by Sherilyn, who had sunk into a deep depression after her sister died unexpectedly.
Okay.
And supposedly there was, like, a hole in the back of Bobby's skull, but the coroner couldn't determine if it was a bullet hole or if it was, like, decomposition,
yeah.
or he fell on a rock, or, like, a million different things that it could be.
And the kid wasn't with them?
The kid was.
Kid was with
They were
them.
laying side by side face down.
I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Side by side face down.
All of them.
All 3 of them. Mm-hmm. But the gun wasn't anywhere. Like, no, they have never found the gun. So it'd be kind of strange if it was a murder-suicide that the gun wouldn't still be there.
I mean, I don't think it's that crazy that they didn't find them within 100 miles. I mean, within 3 miles.
Okay.
100 people. I mean, even 100 people, and you have a 3-mile radius.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of land to cover.
Sure.
And they could have hidden behind a hill. They could have died on top of a hill or on the side of a hill and rolled down it, and they just, no one's perception ever was over there. No one ever could see them. No one ever had a clear line of sight until years later.
Sure.
Hide in plain sight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing about the murder-suicide theory that sticks out to me, that I'm kind of like, I don't know that I believe this, is because they had the dog with them. Like, and it was supposedly, like, very beloved family dog. Madison never went anywhere without her dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so it just seems strange to me that, like, if you're going to carry out this murder-suicide plot, one, wouldn't you leave your dog either at home or with a neighbor or something and say, like, I'm going away for the weekend, can you take my dog? Or worst case scenario, she kills the dog too, not leaving the dog in the truck to starve to death.
Well, if you're not right in the head.
Sure.
It simply could have been a, hey, we're going, why don't we bring the dog? And she's like, no, don't bring the dog.
But it just
and
still
he says, why don't we bring the dog? And she can't think of a good enough excuse.
It still seems like, though, at that point, my thought process is, if you're willing to shoot your 6-year-old, you're probably also willing to shoot your dog.
But then you gotta go back for the dog.
They could have just brought the dog with them if they were out hiking or whatever. Or
that's true. Why would they have left the dog?
Why would they leave the dog in the car? It all comes back to why is the dog in the car?
It seems like more likely that they would have left the car for a moment to do something and left the dog in it because it would have been easier. But you also said that the keys were locked inside.
So, and that's something that I actually, so I didn't write any notes about this, but it's something that I've been mulling over for the last couple days, where I'm like, so what if what happened is really just that they accidentally locked the keys in the truck and they were looking for help and they pretty much just, it was October and it got cold.
And they died.
And they just died.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Didn't
make it far. Instead of walking back
theory.
down the road.
That is my theory, that they accidentally locked the keys in the truck and their phones were in the truck. Everything was in the truck. They had no way of contacting anybody. And
Occam's razor.
Yeah.
And they all stayed together and died together like a happy family.
Yes. So there you have it. Anyway. Let's continue on with the more interesting stuff, because that's a really boring theory.
Boring.
There was also bad blood between Bobby and his father, Bob Jamison Sr. They had supposedly co-owned a gas station, and the profit from the sale of the gas station was supposed to be split between Bobby and Bob, but Bob reneged on the deal.
Uh-oh.
So Bobby sued his father, and then Bob supposedly threatened to kill Bobby more than once. And the Jamisons ended up obtaining a protection order against Bob and installing a camera system because of the fear that Bob would do something.
Okay.
Sherilyn's mother claims that she heard that Bob was linked to the Mexican mafia.
Oh.
And police never gave this theory much credibility, because when the family went missing, Bob was in the hospital very, very sick.
Okay.
And he died 2 months after the family disappeared. But if you believe the Mexican mafia link, he could have put a hit out.
Well,
Nobody
true.
says that he had to have left, like, his hospital bed, his deathbed, to go kill them. He could have just, like, ordered somebody to kill them.
That's easy enough.
That's what people are
Think
saying.
that he did.
That's what people
Okay.
think. Some people think
if you're going to put a hit on somebody, no one says you have to physically be well to do so.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm sure I've seen plenty of movies where the mob boss is
like sickly
in a bed and just telling people what to do. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the most popular theories is that the Jamisons' car the Jamisons, just the Jamisons, not their car. I mean, their car too, but mostly just them. The Jamisons got caught up in a drug deal gone wrong. I guess the Red Oak area is known for producing crystal meth, and neighbors talked about Sherilyn and Bobby looking, quote, emaciated during the weeks prior to their disappearance. And of course, meth is something like makes you lose weight.
That makes sense.
Security video from the front of their house showed both of them acting as though they were in a trance as they packed their truck for the trip to Red Oak. You can find bits and pieces of the security video when you go look for stuff online. And the thing that's weird is, like, yeah, you can say they're, like, in a trance, right? But when we're busy and we're getting stuff packed and we're, like, going back and forth to the truck a whole bunch because we're going to a big event or whatever, we're not likely to just sit there and, like, talk to each other a whole lot or acknowledge each other a whole lot. We're just, like, go to the house, grab the next thing, put it in the truck, go to the house, grab the next thing.
Right,
So that's very, like, trance-like, but what was weird is they kept, like, bringing out something, putting it in the truck, and then the other one would take it out of the truck and bring it back inside, and then, like, somebody, like, they would bring it back out and put it in the truck, and then take it back out of the truck and put it inside, so it was, like,
weird.
That was very strange.
Yeah.
People who are extreme skeptics, which, I mean, this basically links back to what my theory is, it's very similar, think that this was probably pretty much an accident. The family was visiting the plot of land they intended to buy, which is why they had so much cash with them in the vehicle. And they went for a short hike to get a better feel of the land, and they got lost because they didn't really know the area that well. And it's October, so it gets dark and very cold, and the three of them lay down together and try to keep warm, and they die of hypothermia.
Yeah, I mean, that seems easy enough. That seems...
Yeah, not sure why they all would have laid down, face down. That's a little weird.
I mean, maybe they weren't face down, though.
Yeah, maybe they, their whole skeleton shifted, though.
If you're laying on your side...
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I don't know exactly, but I would imagine if your face, based on just the profile of things, your side's narrower than your face, so I would imagine maybe as you decompose, it'd be likely that you would roll onto your stomach. But I mean, I'm not an expert in that, obviously, by any means. And it seems very convenient that all three of them were on their stomachs. But at the same time, it doesn't seem...
It's not implausible.
It doesn't seem implausible that they could have,
So my one note about this, and which is why I go back to they accidentally locked the keys in the car thing, is why did they not take their goddamn dog with them if they were going for a hike?
Yeah, you're going for your hike.
Beloved family dog, you're taking your dog with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it doesn't seem right.
We go for a hike, we take Kasumi and Bishop with us. Like, that just, like... And if we go for a hike and they're in the truck, they're certainly not staying in the truck while we go hiking.
Was their vehicle on a road?
Yes. Like, well, or
was
just, like, pulled
snowy?
off to the side of the road. Not that I saw anything about snow.
Then why would they not walk back down the road?
I don't know. These are all theories. Nobody knows what happened.
Sure. Well, I mean, maybe they locked the dog in the car and didn't even realize they locked the dog in the car.
They didn't realize they forgot their dog?
I don't know. Maybe for some reason... Did they have a leash?
I don't know, but everything I read was all about this 6-year-old freaking loving this dog. Yeah. Like, that was her best friend, because she's an only child.
Yeah.
That's her buddy.
I mean,
so I don't feel like that 6-year-old would be like, oh, I just forgot my dog.
It's not the 6-year-old that forgot.
I know, but you think that she would have spoken up and said, like, why aren't we bringing Maisie?
Well, because we don't have a leash, and we don't know how she is out here in the country, and we don't want her to run after something and get lost.
Fine. All right, why bring your dog if you're not going to bring a leash? Whatever.
Well,
there are all these questions about the dog, and I'm getting really hung up on the dog, and I'm sorry.
I think the dog is an important point, though. I think it is a key point of evidence that we have on this. Like, why would someone leave their dog in the country?
Yeah.
I think that's a question. Like, that is a big point with this whole thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're getting caught up and stuck on the dog. I think that it makes sense to ask the question, why would you leave your dog in a car?
Yeah. Why do you leave the dog in the car? Unless it's an accident.
Were the windows at least rolled down?
I don't know.
I mean, the dog survived, so probably.
But the dog survived.
At least it was October and not the summer. Dog would have died.
That's true. That dog would have died.
The dog keep its own warmth in there.
So all 4 of those are fairly believable theories. Like, even if the Mexican Mafia thing is a stretch,
sure,
they're still fairly believable theories. Like, there's
some
some good stuff to back that up.
Sounds like it's kind of grabbing at straws, but okay. Not improbable.
But, what would this podcast be without some out there theories?
Aliens!
There are no aliens.
What? Why could they not have been...
I mean, we can make aliens.
They're driving out there. Hold on. They're driving out there, then they see some lights.
Why do aliens sound like ghosts?
No. Because they're the same. They're the same thing.
Aliens and ghosts, same thing.
Because, so then they get out, they're like, what the heck? What the heck's going on? Shut the door. Everyone gets out of the car, because maybe the engine, like, whoa, aliens, localized EMP.
Okay,
boom.
Alright.
Car stops, so they're like, oh, what the heck? They all get out of the car, shut the doors, they leave the dog in there, because they're like, well, we're just going to get out of the car, check for a moment, right? Then suddenly, boom, they're abducted, aliens do their zoo thing on them, decide they don't make a great show for them, right?
They're too boring.
They're too boring.
They're too trance-like.
Right? Little girl keeps complaining about not having her dog, right? So they drop them off 3 miles away. 5 miles away, they walk and roll over and die.
Oh, okay. Case closed.
Case closed.
We solved it. You heard it here first.
That's the truth.
You can stop looking now. We found it.
It's true. But let's hear the professional theories.
I wouldn't necessarily call them professional. I mean, I pretty much covered the ones that the police gave some sort of credence to. Okay. So these are not credence-worthy theories.
Let's hear the stretches then. I want to hear the stretches.
All right. Before the bodies were found, the Jamesons' pastor Gary Brandon told the police that the Jamesons had been involved in, quote, spiritual warfare.
Oh, warfare? I've never even heard of that.
Both Bobby and Sherilyn were claiming to see spirits in their house, supposedly belonging to a family who had died long ago. Because what other spirits? And Madison said that she spoke to a child that died in the house. Mm-hmm. Bobby consulted Gary and asked for, quote, special bullets.
Oh.
With which he could shoot the spirits.
Okay.
He told the pastor that he had even consulted a satanic Bible to exorcise the property. Mm. Sherilyn, on top of being depressed, was also diagnosed as bipolar and was known to not take her medication.
Okay. So
some people think, and this ties back into being believable.
Yeah.
But some people think that she may have been suffering from some kind of psychosis.
Okay.
Which would explain why she might have been seeing spirits.
True.
And she was the one who claimed that Madison was talking to a dead child named Emily.
Uh-huh.
Skeptics think that it's likely that Madison had an imaginary friend that she talked to. I mean, it's not uncommon for, a 6-year-old to have an imaginary friend.
Especially an only child.
Yeah, Madison was an only child, and there was seemingly a lot of strife in their marriage. Mm-hmm. And we don't know, how much of that turmoil Madison was, witnessing. So it's even more common for, a child going through some sort of trauma to develop, an imaginary friend so that they can talk to someone and work through things. But, as, great of an explanation that is, there's no explanation why Bobby would go along with it.
True.
Because he was not also diagnosed bipolar.
He wasn't diagnosed.
Well, yeah, sure. And he wasn't just going along with his wife. He told the pastor that there were 3 to 4 spirits that would appear on the roof of the house and bother them, and it was he who was asking about the special bullets. Oh. So it's not he just was yes, wife, you're so crazy. He was seeing things too.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Aliens.
Ghosts. Both, because they sound the same.
We said they were the same, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're both on his roof.
Yes.
Their story makes more sense.
That might be spirits, that might be aliens.
And as soon as they got them far enough away, that's when they struck.
Yep, you hear it, you heard it here first. Aliens and ghosts are the same thing.
Duh.
and they kidnapped the Jamesons and are the reason for their death.
Yeah. That might be their real bodies.
Maybe not. Another theory points that the family actually went into the witness protection, and the bodies were planted, and the public was just told it was them. Yeah, I know. It led in perfectly. Fans of this theory think that the Jamesons may have witnessed something involving meth labs and drug deals and became important informants. Mm-hmm. So it still links back to them somehow being involved with drugs. I don't know why I didn't write this down, or maybe I did, and I just, we got so distracted about the dog conversation that I forgot to mention it. Because we were talking... Did I say something about a drug deal gone wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think I forgot to say this. Sorry. Go backwards a little bit, but the police... Yes. The police... Be kind, rewind. The police never found any evidence of drugs in their car, in their house, nothing.
Okay.
No evidence.
Okay.
So there you have it.
Back to present day.
Back to our weird theories. Since that was tied into the drugs. Other theorists believe that Bobby and Sherilyn were murdered by someone who wanted to kidnap Madison. Mm-hmm. There's a photo on Bobby's phone of Madison from the day before they disappeared. It was taken in the same area where their truck was found, so they were there 2 days.
Okay.
People believe that the photo shows that Madison was scared, and you can pull up the photo.
Okay,
and we'll post it in the show notes, but personally, I think it's hard to tell if she was scared or if the photo captured her mid-movement or mid-conversation.
This one? With her...
With her arm, she has her arms crossed. And to me, it just looks like a 6-year-old that's maybe being a little bit obstinate. Maybe she doesn't want to be out hiking. Maybe she doesn't want to move away from home. Maybe, she's talking. I don't necessarily... a lot of people think that she's upset and she's in distress because the killer is taking a picture of her.
No, she looks like a 6-year-old.
Yeah, that's how I felt, too. But that is one of the theories that somebody, was possibly watching them from afar and really liked the little girl.
We can grab at straws. Her hair is kind of floating a little bit. Alien tractor beams.
Okay. Sure. You're just not going to let that go, are you? It was the aliens. Okay.
I mean, why not?
Sure. Why not? Or...
They took her teeth, too.
Was it witches?
Oh!
Because that's an actual theory. That it was witches. Oh,
God. Damn. Wiccans? Them Wiccans. Can never trust a Wiccan neighborhood.
Wizard Cops. I love that video.
Yeah.
So good. So good. Sherilyn's best friend, Nikki, admits that she and Sherilyn were very interested in witches and bought witches' Bibles, but she claims it was only as a joke. And she said they definitely believed that the house was haunted and Sherilyn would leave sticky notes with messages like, quote, "Get out, Satan."
I like that.
If I'm ever having a problem in my house, I'm just going to leave sticky notes that are like, "Hey, Satan, can you please go away?"
Passive-aggressive sticky notes for Satan.
Everywhere for Satan. Yeah, totally. Satan, can you turn down the water heater a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Satan, I'd appreciate it that if you finished the milk, you at least put the carton away.
Also, your rent is $645, bitch.
Yeah. Except in the winter, because you keep the house warm. We'll cut it in half.
Satan is not a very good roommate, so you have to leave passive-aggressive sticky notes everywhere. She was also researching if her house had been built on a Native American burial ground.
Okay.
So this might be another reason why they were moving. Because their house was haunted, and she thought Satan was in it.
Seen Poltergeist too many times.
Yeah. I'm surprised that it wasn't just, this story of their little girl getting pulled through the TV. I mean, she kind of even looks like the little girl in the movie.
Yeah, little girl.
Yeah. Blonde hair.
Oh, okay.
Okay, whatever. All right.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. Let's talk about these witches.
Yes, sorry. So, after Sherilyn's cats turned up dead, allegedly by poison, Sherilyn supposedly wrote on that storage container they bought, 3 cats killed to date by people in this area. Witches don't like their black cat killed.
Oh, so she's the witch?
Yeah, well, she bought a witch's Bible, and so she think she's very into this stuff, right?
Don't kill her familiars, yeah.
Yeah. All 3 cats. Somebody was after her. Yeah. My favorite part of this little thing she wrote is that 3 cats killed to date by is B-U-Y.
Oh.
You buy something.
Yeah.
And then she used the wrong there when it said witches don't like their black cat killed.
Well, not all witches had to graduate high school, you know?
Well, I mean, lots of people graduate high school and can't figure out that they're their thing.
Yeah, they're there.
They're there.
They're there. You can't spell there.
Anyway, so this kind of indicates that Sherilyn was taking her witchcraft much more seriously than Nikki had claimed. Nikki did admit that she thought that Sherilyn was more of a believer. However, Nikki doesn't believe the witchcraft had anything to do with the family's death.
Okay.
But some people think that maybe Sherilyn took her witchcraft to the next level and was involved in black magic somehow.
Oh.
Theorists think that their deaths could have been ritual sacrifices performed by Sherilyn herself, or through a coven that Sherilyn had possibly run afoul of.
Okay. Yeah.
So, witches.
Never mess with a witch's coven.
Witches, am I right?
Witches. Can't live with them, can't live without them.
Don't kill their cats.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Sons of witches.
We can make witch jokes all night. But, Sherilyn's mother, Connie, believes the family did fall victim to witchcraft and a religious cult. Connie says that area of Oklahoma is known for cults, and then someone told her that Sherilyn's name was on a cult hit list. But take this with a grain of salt, because she's also the one who was like, I heard that Bobby's father had ties to the Mexican mafia.
Yeah.
But she also heard that her daughter's name was on a cult hit list. And, she's just filled with theories about what happened to her family.
Yeah,
Which
absolutely.
I get, being really upset, but also, knowing all these things, makes...
But they're just theories,
Sherilyn's
and they're wrong theories.
nuttiness make a little more sense.
Yeah.
Apple does not fall far
No.
from the tree.
I guess. Not in this instance.
Not in this
She's
instance.
way off the mark. Aliens. Hasn't even talked about them yet.
It's not witches, you guys. It's aliens.
Well, I mean, witches get their powers
or
from
ghosts.
aliens.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to enlighten the unwashed masses about how witches get their powers from aliens?
It's top secret.
Okay.
Yeah, I've said too much.
Is that something that's taught at Hogwarts? Is that it's
was-
actually all... Dumbledore is the aliens guy.
Yeah, I mean, haven't you seen his hair?
Well, yeah, I guess. Well, I mean,
Right.
but his hair's
And he's
long.
always off
Is
somewhere
he
else. He's
weird?
going somewhere else. Other places.
Okay.
Can't be found because he's, hanging out with his alien buddies.
Watching the people in the zoo. The muggles in the
The
zoo.
muggles in the zoo, yeah.
Okay, alright. Okay.
Sorry, we're a little silly this episode.
People, I'm not sorry. I will not apologize for my silliness. You come back here for our bad jokes, so we are just supplying you with more.
I sure hope so.
People in the Unresolved Mysteries subreddit think that the family may have suffered from carbon monoxide poisoning. Redditors point to the strange behavior of the family as they were packing up the car, and the delirium caused by carbon monoxide poisoning could mean when they took a walk, they easily got confused and then died from the elements.
Well, I mean, so did they look at the exhaust on the
Well, they
vehicle?
think it was, maybe from the house. Maybe there was, a furnace that was wrong or something in their house.
Did they check that?
No.
So no one's checked any
No
of
one's
this.
checked any of that, but
Okay,
that's
cool.
what the internet super sleuths think may be a possibility, because no one knows what happened, aside from you, and knowing that it was aliens.
I mean, it could have... That's such a reach. You're just making things up at that point.
I know.
You're telling me carbon monoxide poisoning, fine. They get in a car, they drive how far to see this plot of... They lived in the city, right? Or the town?
They lived in a town. In
Right, but I
Hungary
mean,
area.
I don't know how far that plot of land was.
It was roughly 40 miles.
They drove 40 miles
Well, delirious, yeah, I know.
to the plot of land that they wanted to buy.
Oh, 30 miles. 40 acre plot, 30 miles.
Okay.
Sorry.
Either way, and you're gonna tell me that they had carbon monoxide poisoning?
I know. I don't disagree with you.
No.
That's why this was in the ones that don't make sense pile.
Right. Okay.
There was
okay.
a reason.
Okay.
There was a reason. I had it laid out. So tell me, other than aliens, what do you actually think happened? Because we all know that you don't actually think it was aliens.
We discussed this in the beginning. I think that they... what did I say in the beginning? Hold on, let me think.
Was it something about accidentally locking the keys in the car
think
and
they
then dying
accidentally...
from the hypothermia?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. I'm trying to think... Or... they decided to walk off to see the plot of land and didn't want to take the dog because they were afraid the dog would chase after an animal. Because it's...
Sure, it's out in the country,
It's out in the country, and maybe they were like, let's bring the dog. Oh, crap, we forgot the leash. Maybe they're like, all right, get back in the car. We wanted to bring the dog, and maybe that's why people think this girl's upset, because she's got her arms crossed. She's because, I want Scruffy to come with me.
This is from the day before. That picture is from the day before.
Okay. Oh, okay, well then, screw that picture. Who cares about that? That picture means nothing then.
Well, because people think that it's a picture that the killer took. That's what picture means.
Before?
Yeah, the day before.
Okay, so it's a coincidental picture from a day before.
Mm-hmm. Taken in the same area.
I mean, it could have been taken a week.
Car was found.
You could have taken a picture from a year ago and been like, the killer took it.
Sure.
The killer took this picture. It was on the phone. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Like,
I don't buy the thing with the picture either. I don't.
It's just like, that's such a
but
stretch.
It's one that, like, a lot of people on the internet think that this is the key. Like, this picture is the thing where, like, I'm hung up on the damn dog. Like, people are like, no, this picture, like, this is the key to everything. And I think it's a picture of a 6-year-old.
I do too. I think that, I mean, maybe you can see, that's Bigfoot in the background.
I guess,
Holy crap, look, Bigfoot. Right there. See it? It's Bigfoot.
Yeah, I kind of... Okay, no, that's not Bigfoot, it's a shadow.
Bigfoot killed them.
Wasn't aliens, no, it's Bigfoot.
No, Bigfoot is an alien.
Well, I guess that actually kind of makes sense.
There is a theory that some Bigfoot enthusiasts have that Bigfoot is an alien, and Bigfoot goes and lands a spaceship in the woods.
This is a theory?
No, this is no joke. This is no joke.
I did the research on the Bigfoot
I'm surprised you've never seen this.
I'm surprised.
Oh yeah, I've heard it. And then that's why we can't find him, because he's not there.
Okay.
Until he wants to come back down and run around on Earth again.
Okay.
He's a Wookiee.
So I need to say something else about this picture that I neglected to mention, and it wasn't in my notes.
Okay.
The reason that so many people are hung up on the picture and they think that it's very strange is because the grandma says that Madison was like a very happy, smiley child and always wanted to take pictures, so this doesn't make sense.
The girl looks like she might be about to yell out in glee.
Yeah, like...
She is in, like...
She's mid-movement.
There's
no way to know what that emotion is.
And you're telling me a little girl can't be like, I want to do something. I want to do it now. Yeah, but otherwise she's completely happy.
She wants the golden egg.
I think a picture of a child whose emotions change more than I just completely brain farted on the mental illness that causes people to change their emotions does.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, little kids' emotions are crazy. They're all over the place.
They are all over the place, and they because they're still figuring it out, and they don't know how to control.
Yeah, anything. So I just don't think a picture says anything.
No, I agree with you. I'm not I don't disagree. It's just, it happens to be, like, the one thing that, like, everyone on the internet is like, what about this picture, though? And I'm just like, what about the dog, though?
I think they left the dog. Probably didn't realize they locked the dog in, right? It was a spontaneous, they're driving out there, they're like, hey, let's stop, take a walk around. Oh, crap, we don't have a leash for the dog. I mean, that's not a piece of evidence I have. I'm making that part up, whether or not they had a leash or not. But for some reason, they decided, nah, let's not take the dog. They decide to go for a walk. They get lost. They die.
Yep.
I think that...
Hypothermia.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the guy tripped, fell, bonked his head, and Cheryl, who was already suffering from some mental illness, was like, I'm not going to leave your side. And just decided not to leave, and they all died there. I don't know.
Sure, maybe.
I would think the little girl would decide to leave at some point, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's anything...
No one knows. I don't think it's anything sinister.
Crazy. I don't think this one's even worthy of being on Unsolved Mysteries.
Other than we don't know how they died.
Yeah,
that's really what it is.
Yeah.
But there were some great theories, which is why it's on our show.
What do you think?
I think they accidentally locked the keys in the car, and they wandered away trying to figure out what the hell to do in the middle of freaking nowhere, and they died of hypothermia during the middle of the night.
Yeah. What about the dog?
That's the thing that still kills me, is that they just left the dog. I think really what happened is they locked the keys in the car on accident, and the dog was locked in the car, and they weren't going to just stand by their truck. They were going to, like, try to go get help, right? And they, like, got turned around. They went the wrong way.
Nah, they were like, you can eat your poop for a week. You'll be fine.
Oh my god, please don't say that.
Dogs eat their poop every day anyways,
I know,
usually.
But that poor dog.
I know,
feel so bad
but the dog made it.
But the dog made it, which was the very important thing that everyone needed to know, was the dog was fine.
The dog was
fine. Went on to live a happy life with Bobby's mother.
Yeah. So is that it? That's everything.
That's it.
All right. Well,
we did it, everybody.
The aliens
with
got him.
With some real bad jokes this time.
Aliens got him, brought him back. That's the truth.
well, or just keep looking because we obviously have not found it yet. But you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TTIS Podcast. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can do that in a couple ways. You can rate and review over on iTunes. It helps people find our podcast a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. You can jump on over to Patreon, where you can get video versions of this podcast. The videos don't get edited quite as much.
Yeah, there's a little bit more content in the videos.
Yeah, there's
not
a
much.
Tiny bit more content because we've gotten really good about not having to edit a whole lot out.
Sure.
So there's a tiny bit more content in the videos. You get to see our faces, whether that's a bonus or not. I don't know. Hi. And you also there's bonus merchandise that you get at certain levels.
Yep.
Speaking of merchandise, you can find our merchandise over at thetruthisomewhere.threadless.com. There's new stuff up based off of the Roanoke episode now. I worked on that, got that up. It's ready to go. So go
I don't
check
think I've seen
out.
that yet. I'll have to look that up. I'll have to look at it myself.
And if you have any suggestions, comments, concerns, you can email us at thetruthisomewherepodcast@gmail.com.
I think we need to figure out a way to streamline this a little bit, because this goes for a while.
It does. It goes forever. Sorry, guys. There you have it.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.